If you plan on doing any traveling around this holiday season, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, right now, this government shutdown is creating a massive problem, and it is chaos in the airports. But according to experts, they say it's only going to get worse. And even asking some friends of mine who work for TSA, they are saying they are ready to quit. Absolutely at their wits' end and ready to quit. Just listen to this. This is what one of my friends said. He says, I have been doing my part in coming into work, but I am at my wits' end. I haven't been paid for weeks, and now I'm being yelled at constantly throughout the day from travelers. I'm ready to quit if this lasts much longer. Okay. Here's the problem. Look at some of these stories from just a couple days ago. Look at this. SFO. This is the San Francisco International Airport. It issues temporary ground stop on Friday morning amid staffing shortages. That's in San Francisco, a massive, massive airport. Here's another one. It says flights momentarily grounded at Charlotte Douglas due to staffing issues. Flights departing from facilities including in Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. were being held on the ground until the stop lifted just before 9 a.m. Again, that was just today, or just yesterday. The reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because we are going to see more and more delays at airports. Right now, we're seeing hundreds of flights delayed every single day. Happened on Friday, happened yesterday on Saturday. It's going to happen again today. Now, here's where things are getting interesting. Currently, okay, today's November 9th. Currently, airports are at these major airports. Okay, there's 40 top airports in massive cities that are seeing a flight reduction of 4%. Okay, 4%. This increases on Tuesday. On Tuesday, November 11th, it will increase from 4% to 6% flight reduction. On Thursday, November 13th, it will go from 6%, which would be on Tuesday, to 8%, which is double what it is today. So we will see double the amount of flights canceled. Then on Friday, on November 14th, it will go to 10% flight reduction. That right there is going to hurt thousands and thousands of travelers, potentially millions, but it could get worse. Look at this. It says U.S. flight cuts could reach 20% if situation worsens. This is according to the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy. It says right here, airlines have canceled scores of flights since the FAA directive to reduce traffic took effect. United Airlines Holdings Inc., which is scrapping 510 flights through Sunday, and American Airlines Group Inc. are among the most affected, with the highest cancellation on interstate routes in Colorado and Texas. It's going to get far worse. This is not going to get better. What Sean Duffy said is flight reduction in the U.S. could escalate to as much as 20% if the ongoing government shutdown leads to worsening air traffic control staffing. One of the things that I've talked about before, and I talked about this yesterday when I was talking about a strike video, but something that happens, and you may not realize this, but let's say air traffic controllers are at home, right? They're calling in sick. TSA agents are like, well, my friend Billy over here, who's an air traffic controller, he called in sick. I'm going to do the same thing. Let's go golfing. Let's go do something else. Let's go find another job because this isn't working. That's what's happening right now. People are going through airports, and obviously they're frustrated. There's long lines through security. There's, some of the shops are shut down because they don't have enough workers either. But what's happening right now is interesting. We're starting to see more people are now siding with their friends, and they are going to call out sick. They're not coming in. Sorry, not going to be there today. Okay? And they're really going to stand firm on that until the government reopens. They are pretty much going to shut down airports. And that's the thing that you need to be concerned with, is when airports shut down, That's a huge problem because now people aren't traveling. Businesses, okay, people aren't conducting business in the way they normally did. And so remember what happened during the pandemic where we saw many people weren't traveling. Okay, people weren't there at the TSA. They weren't there for air traffic control. There were no pilots. There were no stewardess or flight crew. There's nobody, and there was thousands of layoffs. We could see that very soon. Okay, I want to show something to you though. Look at this. It says the FAA is limiting flights at big airports, but passengers at small airports will feel the most pain. Okay, nobody's talking about the small airports. Nobody. They're all talking about the SeaTac airport, LAX, okay, LaGuardia. They're all talking about the big airports, DFW. That's what everyone's talking about. I want to read a little bit of this article though. Listen to this. It says the federal government is ordering flight cuts at 40 major airports because of the shutdown, but it's flyers in places like Pensacola, Florida, Moline, Illinois, Waco, Texas, and Shreveport, Louisiana, who will have it the hardest. That's because small feeder flights are largely the ones getting canceled, not the flights between major cities. Interesting, the small feeder flights. It says, canceling flights at the smaller airports can cause significant problems for those who depend on them, but it limits the disruption for the system overall. That allows the airlines to comply with the new FAA limits. For example, Miami International Airport is one of the airports where the FAA limits went into effect Friday. Pensacola International Airport, a small regional airport nearly 700 miles away on the Florida Panhandle, definitely is not. But some Pensacola flights were among those affected anyway. All 8 flights normally scheduled between Miami and Pensacola by American Airlines on Friday had been canceled. Pensacola travelers needed to get to Miami had a couple of unappealing choices. Drive the 700 miles or fly in the wrong direction to Atlanta, Charlotte, or Dallas, and then fly to Miami. Neither one of those sounds like a good idea. But this is, again, just part of the problem. It's not just the big airports that are going to feel the impacts. The smaller ones will as well. And again, like this article saying, people are going from one airport, flying to another airport, which does see some of the cancellations, but then they get on those flights and then they jump over to another major city. So again, the cancellations are happening everywhere, not just in these major cities. But that's what we're led to believe. Now, here's the interesting thing. When we do see this go from 4% to 6% flight cancellation, or not flight cancellation, but reduced capacity, and then 8% to 10% to potentially 20%, what is going to happen? Is it only going to be at those specific airports? According to reports, the answer is likely no. That we are going to see a total wide, flight reduction. And when that happens, again, that's where you should really be concerned, because we haven't seen that before. So when that happens, how does it actually play out? Who does that impact? And what are the logistics behind it? That's what we just don't know. And keep in mind, international flights have not been impacted yet, but they could in the very near future. So I will leave you with that, but as of today, that is what we know. There's some concerns coming up this week that right now, I wish I could tell you this is how you prepare for them, but honestly, we've never been here before. This is unprecedented territory that we are going to deal with together. So as we get more updates on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get them. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.